Hi, this is Kaushal, and in this first part of the Lightbox editor, I'm going to take you through the first section, which is the Lightbox layout. So to get into it, you're just going to click from your home screen, or once you log in, your Lightbox's screen, you're either going to click on the name of the Lightbox you want to edit, or you're going to click on Editor here. So in this case, I'm just going to click on the name of the Lightbox, and I'm going to take you through the first section, which is the layout. So the layout section, in order to get to the different sections of the Lightboxes, you're going to see an interface on the left of your screen that allows you to select the different sections. So in this case, we want to be in the layout section. So if you're in a different section, say you're in the teaser section, just click on layout and you'll be taken to the layout section. So this is just a Lightbox that I made to take you through the videos. And I'm going to take you through these 4 different sections very quickly. This first section, the container allows you to, this dimensions just allows you to make the Lightbox wider, or narrower, or taller, or shorter. So as I drag this, as you can see on the right here, it's getting wider, and as I adjust it down, the pixels are getting narrower. If you want it to be very exact, you can just use your cursor and click right or click left, and it'll adjust it 1 pixel at a time. Same with height. If I drag the pixels up, it's going to be taller. Drag them down, it's going to be shorter. Border, this is just, see how I have a dotted border here? I could choose whatever border I want. If I want it to be a little bit thicker, I make the width more. I can choose any color I want throughout the interface. I could use a hex number, or I could just choose, let's say I want it to be red. I'm going to change it to red. Let's say I want it to be double. I'm going to change it to double. And let's say I want it to not have these hard edges, so this radius allows you to soften the edges. So here we go, I soften the edges. So it's pretty self-explanatory there. Background here, so the background allows you to use any background color you want. So in this case, I'm using a background color, and then I'm using a gradient. That's why this gradient's on. You should turn the gradient off, and there's no, as you can see, it doesn't go from that beigeish to white color anymore. And I can also just, if I want to change the background totally, I could just change the color right there. Don't want to use a gradient, don't use a gradient there. So let's say I want to keep it this color. That's great. I have a background set. I can use a background image as well. So what I could do is, it's important to know that if you use a background image, it does have to be the exact size of the Lightbox that you want. Otherwise, it can repeat itself, but you probably don't want that. So just make sure that your image is exactly in the size of the Lightbox that you want. But I could, for instance, this one, if I wanted to make the children's book just a background altogether, what you'll see is if I use an image here, that's the size of the image there. See, so I could take this image, let me just turn this image off. And then this is the exact size of the image. So what I have to do here is now make this a little narrower, drag this here, and make this a little taller to get the entire picture in there. But of course we didn't want this, so but that's just how you use it. So these are the exact dimensions of these books in the background. That's the exact dimensions of this image that I had uploaded. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to refresh this. I don't want to save it. So we're back to the original here. And so you have the background there. If you do repeat, if you had a smaller image, it would repeat itself. Position, if you wanted it to be a background, but you wanted it to just be centered in the background, you want it to be bigger than the image itself, then you could have a color in the background or whatever. So that's pretty self-explanatory as well. So that's the container section. The text section, really simple. The really nice thing about this as well is that if you click on something here, it's going to go to that section. So let's say I'm in the container section and I want to change this join the best little bookworm list, right? Or join the best of little bookworms list. I can just click on this. It'll take me to the text section, and I have 4 snippets of text I can put in here. So this is the first snippet already. If I click on this, it's going to take me to the second snippet. So let's say I wanted to change. It says join. See, it says join or newsletter and get unlimited reading from a library of hundreds of high-quality children's books. This should say join our instead of join or. So that was a typo. So I can just change it right here. And let's say, oh, well, it's black. Maybe I want it to be stand out a little bit more. So I can just go here and say, okay, let me change the font. let's make it Open Sans, and let's make it, it's already bold, let's make it red. So here, change this to red. There, just to make it pop a little more. Let's make it a little bit bigger. So here's the font size. I can make it bigger. Oh, that's too big. I'm just going to change it back to 14. Okay, so that's pretty self-explanatory as well. Alignment, you can have left aligned, center, right aligned, or not aligned at all. This is just bold, italics, or underlined, pretty self-explanatory there. And like I said, 4 snippets of text. So you can have up to 4 different snippets of text in there. Buttons here, so you can have buttons. You can, again, have 4 buttons. If I go to images, you can have 4 images. If you go to HTML, you can have 4 snippets of HTML. So buttons, this is button 1, download. All the buttons have the same options. You can change the background. You can change what it says. So let's say this is a list, and I wanted to say, instead of list, let's say I wanted to say get on the list. So get on the list. See how that changes that there. Another thing I can do is I could have it, see how this is all the same as you go about, but I could say, okay, maybe when someone hovers over it, I want it to get bigger. So I'd say, okay, when they hover, let's make it get bigger. Hovering over the button means that when they hover, see how it gets bigger now. So that's what this is. You just click here, and there's normal, hover, focus states. But if you just want it to be the same across, then you could just change this there, and then it's going to basically change everything across the board back to 16, so it won't be like that anymore. So there's focus state is basically when you click on it. So when you click on it, if you want it to be a different color, you could also do that. So I could say, okay, the border is not, let's say when I click, I want a border. So we say, okay, on focus state, let's add a red border with a little bit more width. And then also the background, let's make the background change to a different color too. Let's make it change to orange. So in focus state, we're going to say change to orange. So now when I click on this, it should turn orange, and I should have a border. See what happened there? So that's basically what these states are. And if you want them to be all the same, you just click on all states. You could also have a background image if you wanted to. The other thing is what do you want to do when you click on it? In this case, you wanted to submit a form, but you could also have it close a lightbox. So you could create a button that closes a lightbox. You can have one that redirects to a different website. You can have one that downloads a file, or you can have one that opens another lightbox. So in this case, we wanted to submit this form here. Images, so this section allows you to add up to 4 different images, and again, if you click on the image, no matter what section you're in, it'll take you to that tab. So I'm going to click on this image here, and there we go. This is an image here. And when you go to upload an image, it's also very important, especially if you're uploading an image for a background, that you uncheck this. There's an option here that's automatically checked, that's resize images that are larger than 400 by 400 pixels. You want to uncheck that. So not all the time, but in some cases you'd want to uncheck that if you want to maintain an image's size. So in this case I already uploaded it, so if I wanted to add it, I would literally just click on add like I did. In this case I would uncheck it and then upload file, and I could just choose a file from my desktop here. And once I do that, this is maintain aspect ratio, which I generally do, and display or not display. So I can turn the display on or off here in this case, and I can have up to 4 different images throughout the lightbox. So even if sometimes you have an image that's just like on here, let's see if I have any here. Let me select one. So maybe free guide, let's see what this one is. Oh, so there's a free guide one. Yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of different images you can upload. You could have an image of an arrow or something like that. A yes button, for example, if you had a yes, no, see there's a yes button. So you can have whatever image you want in there and upload it, and that would be in your file section, but you just upload it from here. HTML, you can have several snippets of HTML in here, and you can just turn these on or off. So this is just a snippet of HTML. that is right there, free ebook. So this is just coming from a different source here. But you can really do whatever you want, have 4 different snippets of HTML. So if you have someone that's a little bit more tech savvy, they can enter snippets of HTML in the Lightbox as well. So that's it for this section. I would really encourage you to mess around with the sections, and if you have any questions, just shoot us an email at contact@digio.com and we'd be happy to answer them for you. Thanks a lot, and I look forward to the next section, which is going to be the form section.